Leo tuongee polepole na hakuna kujaji each other, okay? Leo nataka tu tuzungumze. Na topic ya leo ninasema wachana na romance kama huna finance. By the way, ushaijua kitu moja kwa hii life, kila kitu inakuanga na repercussions. Like, when I say repercussions namaanisha kila kitu inakuanga na consequences. Kama consequences namaanisha madhara, okay? So the point is this. Ushai realize kitu, ushai close hivi kwa macho ukajiuliza kitu moja in Africa, you'll find most of the people wanna get into the marriages just because you are old. Ukimuuliza fact yenye imekufanya wewe uende ukaolewe ama uoe, anakuambia unajua sasa time inaenda, mimi ni old na nataka nilee watoto mapema na vitu kama hizo. So the most thing huwa wana consider is usually age or old. Let me just call it age, okay? And let me tell you one secret. Whenever it comes to romance, not only age, love is considered. No, and most people tend to consider these two things. That in the age, you see, unajua sasa mtu walisema ukifikisha 30 years na wewe ni mwanaume unafaa uoe. Unajua sasa wewe kama ni demu ukipitisha miaka 23 na hujaolewa sasa itakuwa ni shida. So you consider age. The other thing in unajua mimi ananipenda so aliniambia ananipenda no, and by the way I think ananipenda so I think nitaoleka kwake, ama I think I love this lady, she's amazing, she's presentable, so mimi nitamuoa. Okay? So you end up doing what? End up marrying. Ni hard sana usikia watu wakinclude factor nyingine na itango finance, and this one is very 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 vital ikikuja kwa relationships ama ikikuja kwa marriages. Okay, why? You know, most of the people wanasemanga unajua kuna vows huwa watu wanachukuanga kwa churches ama whatever the places, wanasemanga sijui kwa ubaya na kwa nini sijui nini. The fact remains, si watu wengi wanakuanga ready ku adhere to those vows. So unapata most of the people wana ignore this finance, and let me tell you one thing, hii finance ina contribute close to 75% of all the divorces that we have. Ukisikiza watu wengi wakiargue sana kwa divorce, kwa marriages, unapata pana sana if you were to trace the route, inarudi back to the root of that thing, inarudi back to what? To the finance. And how can we be able to avoid this kind of a thing? And that's why I've said, I know this one may sound very latent, or blatant, depends on how you pronounce the name. When I say stop the romance, if you do not have the finance, what exactly do I mean? Kama kuna kitu nimekuja kurealize ina contribute to most of what we call tunaitanga generational something. Have you ever heard of something called generational, generational poverty? Generational poverty, unapata ni ile situation yenye huyu ni mama yako na babako waliwazaa, akawazaa 1 2 3 4 5, whatever the number of you guys you are out there, and nyinyi sasa hapa, instead of you guys considering all these three things, mli consider age na whatever. So by default babako anakuambia mimi nikiwa 25 years nilikuwa nimesha kuzaa, wewe unafanya nini kijana bwana, you're supposed to marry. And by the time these guys are telling you you're not even stable, you hardly even support yourself by yourself. So and now you want to bring somebody on board, and you guys, because you're young and tunasema damu ni moto, then you end up bringing somebody else on board. So mlikuwa tumbo mbili, mmekuwa tumbo tatu. So kama ingekutake 2 years kununua plot now, well, it can take you shorter period. I'm not saying by virtue of you getting kids hawezi pata property. No, that's not the argument. So see again, I'm trying not to be subjective. Okay, so the point is this. Now you bring somebody on board here. Now here, this is you, and you bring somebody else here, and so by the time you realize, and maybe kuna mtu mmoja hapa kati yenu at least ako somehow blessed. So you guys, you tend to drain from this kind of an individual. But if you guys, you could have taken, you see, by the way, hakuna kitu inakuanga easy ku help kama mtu, tuseme kama uko na bro unataka kusaidia masizi, unataka kumsaidia, lakini unataka kumsaidia plus yeye na watoto wake na bwana yake na bibi yake na all those kind of things, it becomes a little bit of a heavy burden. So kitu moja nimekuja ku realize ni this generation of poverty is sometimes inakuanga contributed by what we call early marriages. Early marriages, unapata wasi wengi wanachukuanga marriage ni kama escape route. This is never an escape route. A lot of people who wanaichukuanga kama an escape route, towards what? Towards wealthy. And let me tell you one thing, tunasemanga wealth haikuangi transmitted that way. See, what you're supposed to understand is this. These early marriages haijakumake wewe mwenyewe ukuwe stable. Okay? The other thing, unapata huyu mtu anaenda kuoa ama kuoleka just because anataka ku escape the poverty thing using this route. And then mtu mwenye alienda kuoleka kwake, this person wali consider age na waka consider love, how we consider what we call finance. I'm not saying that people should only be married to people who are stable or person. You see, you can look at somebody, upate huyu mtu, yes, as of now as we speak, this guy does not have like what we call the current property or money or something of so. But ukisikiza venye na argue, venye anaongea, venye na reason, this is a guy who really understands well. And this is, by the way, this is a message to ladies. If you get a guy who does not understand things to do with finance, Kwa Kenya tunasemanga run murife, kwa sababu hiyo itakupata kwa shida kubwa sana. Ni vizuri uingie kwa mtu mwenye unapata who this guy anaelewa, and if this guy is employed and you guys you are about to get married, uliza hii swali in a very wise way, you know, don't just go and attack anyone or anybody in any way. Muulize, okay fine, how do you think about investments, what areas have you invested, or if maybe you are to invest, you know, because ukimuza umeinvest wapi, inaweza kuwa like anaweza kuwa na from the, you know the term they usually give, yeah. So it's always good unamuuliza, okay, from what areas were you to invest, if you were to invest, and by the way, would you justify why would you invest in those areas, and perhaps what would you recommend maybe for a lady to do, or something of sort, like, okay fine, if I come on board and I'm considered as your helper, then what exactly is my role to your place in terms of your investments or something of sort, what thing would you like me to help you with? See, when you ask those substantive questions wakati yenye mnaendelea in that relationship and what have you, that actually gives you a clear picture of an individual whom you're dealing with. For example, you see the problem unapatanga wasengi wanaingia kwa finance, I mean kwa marriage na finance na waletea shida ni unapata mna join two people wenye ni two different individuals. Kwa mfano, and I have ever given this example before. Kwa mfano, let's say mtu mmeenda kuoneka kwake, the guy is frugal. The guy is frugal, or we call it minimalist. Minimalist. That is actually the appropriate term. Lakini wewe mnapeanga jina kama stingy. All right? Stingy. By the way, although stingy is a very awkward name, but let's just say the guy is frugal or the guy is minimalist. Wewe, you are a spender. You are a what? You are a spender. Now, if you are a spender and this guy is frugal, and you guys you've joined hand, then you guys, you are antagonist to each other. What does it mean? It means you, this individual, views money from a point of, hey, this thing should be held or keep it, should not be used, should not be utilized, I should survive on minimals, or I should survive on minimal things, and all those kind of things. But kwako, from a point you are like, hey, I was never brought up in a good life, I've been missing these things, and this husband of mine actually has the capability of making me live the life and all those kind of things. So you guys will always rubbing shoulders. Why? Because you don't understand each other, and it's always good to make sure that you ask these substantive questions. I know probably you're watching this video and you're already married, you're like, okay, does it mean now Joseph Sabini nimeolewa sasa yangu imeisha hivi? No. You can always you can always do what we call coming on board and trying to ignite this thing in terms of the conversation. And that's why, this is why I always offer what we call couple, sort of finance, talks, financial conversations, financial literacy, and all those kind of things. By the way, if you're looking forward to getting that package, pick my number from the description of this specific video, shoot me a call, and then we can be able to arrange. We meet, be it either virtually or what we call, physically, then we can have the conversation so that at least we can get this thing called financial literacy. So what does it mean? So if you get yourself into this romance thing, na hauna finance, you bring kids on board, unanitango yourself to a point where, unajua kuna mtu alinipenga example kitambo akaniambia hivi, hey, you know what Joseph, saizi tuseme nikiwa na 10k kwa mfuko. That guy was very wise actually, akaniambia saizi nikiwa na 10k kwa mfuko, naweza manage kusave 8k, okay, na ni kule 2k. Lakini kuna time itafika nitakuwa nakula 8k na save 2k. Okay? So if I was to buy a property, maybe let's say worth 80,000. So before ingenihitaji 10 months to accumulate my 80,000. But after that, nini imechange, I'll need what? Let me just pick this one. I will need what we call over 10 months to actually accumulate the same amount of money. And probably at that particular point, ni kumaanisha that thing has already changed in terms of the price. Now, the point is this, it's always good to make sure that before you get the romance on board, understand the consequences, understand the effects, understand the repercussions, so that at least you do not act surprisingly after hapo mbeleni. That's what we usually say. So my point is this, or what would I leave you with? Ama what's my last point? This is my last point. Mimi sijasema anybody should run away from this romance thing and what have you. Just understand your finance numbers. If you understand your finance numbers, you're gonna get yourself in a very good state of mind on the state of the situation. But if you just run after the romance, you ignore the finance, you're gonna rub shoulders with a lot of your things, and you're gonna get yourself into lots of problems. Did I say ati hawezi make? No. Unajua kuna konga na hii argument ambayo inakonga na most of the African families. Wanakwambia hapana, wewe usijali, wewe oa tu. Unajua mtoto akikuja na kujana how do they frame it? Wanasemanga mtoto akizaliwa na kujanga na sahani yake. Wanasahau like hiyo sahani yake wewe ndio unafaa uweke chakula, The other thing that people say is that, hey, you know, God can bless you even if you umeoana, hata kama hauna kitu, God can bless you. And I'm not ruling that factor out, okay? And I always tell you things. Perhaps I should explain this point. Na nimai kuambia tena nitakwambia. Ikifika kwa kitu inaitangwa success, let me tell you one secret. Don't play ignorant, okay? Ikifika kwa success inakwanga intersection between two things. This is an intersection between two things. Hapa katikati ndio tunapaitanga success. I have ever given you this example before. And it's usually an intersection between what? A hard work, okay, a hard work, and the other thing is what? Is luck. You can call it blessing or blessed or whichever. People can call this like a lot of names, okay? Now, the point is when you wataita connection, whatever the case, the point is an intersection between a hard work and luck, okay? Now, this of God blessing you and all those kind of things, what we do deep inside of our heart ni kubelieve atatubless, anatupenda provided tumekaa kwa njia zake na vitu kama hizo. I know you may borrow that argument, but the fact is hujui ni lini. That's for a fact. You do not know when it is. So you cannot be able to say you will ignore the hard work part. And the hard work part is you learning, understanding, having the knowledge, having the literacy of knowing, hey, romance usually comes with the financial aspect or the hooks attached to it. Okay, unajua one thing ni fine, mimi napatanga 10,000 at the end of the month, niko 21 years as a man. Is it the right time to marry or is it the right time to invest? That's for a fact. That's for a... So you understand, okay fine, I'm to 20. Kuna mtu alinipigia simu akaniambia, Joseph, I'm 22 na ninapata mshahara ya 14,000 na ninataka kuoa, na mtu ninataka kuoa ako 20 years. So is it the best time to marry or is it the best time to invest? Nikamwambia, my friend, you're supposed to be thinking, I think the question you should be asking me is where should I invest? Because those are the things that you're supposed to be focusing on, okay? Hii issue kusema uko na grace ya kuoa sijui unaitoa wapi. That's for a fact. But I'm not ruling the fact out that mtu hawezi wakiwa na hiyo age. Kuna watu wanaonanga na wanao wakiwa hiyo age na wanakuwa successful. But what percentage? So don't eradicate the aspects of hard work just in the name of you being lucky in life, okay? So it's always good to play with this hard work. So by the time the luck hits you, the success won't be a question of if, but will be a question of when. That is exactly what we do about it, okay? So ukileta hii argument kwa comment section ati, oh, unajua sisi niliona bwanangu alikuwa na 5,000, mimi hata sikuwa napata anything, hata tulikuanga na deni, Mungu ataka to bless, tukapata. Somebody might take that information and you might mislead that individual. And I have not said that God cannot bless you. He can, but at the same time also God anapenda mtu mwenye ni smart, somebody who can actually plan by themselves so that at least you can make a good decision as far as the money is concerned. Right? So when it comes to romance, make sure that you consider the aspect or the factor of finance, because it's an essential as love or age that you guys love, you know, to consider out there. Anyway, guess what, guys? That marks the end of this video, but it's not the end of me posting a video each and every time. And guys usually wananiuliza, hey Joseph, I would like to have a conversation with you. Okay, fine. Umesema unapeananga couples the advising and whatever. How do I get in touch with you? Namba yangu inakuwa kwa profile, but I'm not, rather kwa description. Okay, hapo hivyo chini mahali kumeandikwa more, just click it and then you get my number. Shoot me a call. Let us have a conversation. That is exactly how you get my number. Don't forget to like this video and so comment down below. Tell me what you think. For now, it's a goodbye and see you in the next one.